Delta secure. The enemy took Bravo. We're losing Charlie. Enemy sniper!
And there you guys have it, a pretty quick streak to a V2 jet. However, I left that match because I wasn't running score streaks, and I also had the wrong perks on, which I can't edit my perks in-game, well, the perk packages, that is, so I ended up just leaving that match because I really needed to fix that. Anyways, here we are on some Ahkdar Village with the M4, using the P890s as my secondaries. This is going to be a 2-for-1 special. I'm going to give you guys the best M4 class setup for ground war, as well as the P890s, because the P890s is something you guys have seen a lot throughout my videos, and they're going to be used a lot in this video as well. And I think that the P890s are the best secondaries in the game, and there's no reason that you guys need to run overkill. Don't waste a perk on overkill, because just kit your primary out for range, use those P890s at close range, and I promise you there is zero need for overkill, okay? This message has been sponsored by Jor. Anyways, moving on to the gameplay. So as you guys can see here, we have the M4, and this build that I'm going to be giving you guys is yet another ranged build. I like to build all of my assault rifles for maximum range, maximum recoil control, and bullet velocity, and that is the way I like to do it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get the best in every single category because I just don't have enough space for my attachments, but I try to balance out these guns with that in mind. Alright, it's got to be suppressed because there's 32 people on the map in ground war, there's a lot of UAVs getting put up, and I want to stay off that radar, especially once I get my ghost perk. On top of that, I want to make sure I'm building this gun for recoil control, aim walking steadiness, damage range, bullet velocity. As I mentioned, I want to make sure this build is good at taking people on not only at close range, but also across the map. So that's my goal. Now, the M4, unfortunately, is outclassed by other assault rifles for long-range capabilities. I just think there are much better options, but where the M4 definitely excels is that close medium range. This gun is insane, and it's an absolute laser beam for those close to medium ranges. However, at the farthest ranges, this gun does have a little bit more recoil than we're used to with an M4, and combine that with a high fire rate, it can all happen so fast, and, well, therefore, it can be a little bit harder to use at long range, and especially because this gun doesn't hit as hard as something like a Kastov 7.62. Anyways, I babbled on for too much, so let's go ahead and take a look at our class overview. Coming to the M4 class setup here, we have the Echoless 80 suppressor to give us some suppression so we're not on the radar. We also get a little bit of recoil smoothness to help smooth out that recoil pattern, and then we get damage range increase by about 14%, as well as pretty good bullet velocity. And then the high tower 20-inch barrel is going to also give us another damage range boost, and then we're also going to get recoil control and more bullet velocity out of it. And then for the Locker Precision 40, I have this on for that aim walking steadiness, so our gun is nice and steady while we're strafing at ranges. And then we also gain some recoil control and hip fire benefits from that. The Demo Precision Elite factory stock is also amazing for making the gun more stable and giving it some recoil control as well. And then the Seiken ZX rear grip is going to give us another bit of recoil control, so that way this gun is nice and stable and also has some really good ranges and bullet velocity, so that way we can reach people across the map. And real quick, every 5 seconds, a new tuning is going to appear on the screen. I don't really think the tunes are all that important at what makes a gun good, but if you guys are wondering what I use for my tunes, I'll just show you guys here, so that way you can go ahead and copy my tunes and see if you enjoy it that way. And if you feel that maybe it's a little too slow or it needs, something for your liking, feel free to change it, obviously, because this is just my recommendation. Now, going back to the M4, let's talk about this gun a little bit more. So, first things first, our recoil pattern. Let's just go ahead and take a look at what our recoil pattern is going to look like so you guys understand how to counteract the gun's recoil and that way have a nice shot with this gun. So in order to get the recoil plot, I stand with my back to the wall and I shoot one mag at the wall. Then I walk up to the wall and then I take a look at my recoil pattern, and as you can see, pretty much pull down to the left a little bit, then down to the right, back down to the left. Or what you could do is pretty much just strafe left or right, and then pull down the opposite direction that it goes, and you'll have a much smoother recoil pattern, which will in return give you a laser beam of a gun. So let's talk about the Akimbo P890s, one of my favorite guns in Modern Warfare 2. Weird that one of my favorite weapons is an Akimbo pistol, but I gotta say they are a lot of fun, and they are an absolute powerhouse because you have the chance to one-shot kill your enemy if you pull the trigger at the same time on both pistols. It counts as a one-shot, one-kill medal, and that's pretty cool. So it will fire, obviously, 2 shots because you have 2 guns, but 2 shots, 1 kill, all you need. So these pistols are very strong. The fire rate is also really nice on them, especially with the lightweight triggers, and as a result you get something that just insta-kills people up close, or I should say has the potential to insta-kill people, granted you are shooting them in the right spot. And if you use this on maps in areas like this where, you know, it's really tight alleyways or doorways or just a really tight building, and you're moving around and you keep moving around while you are hip firing, you'll have a lot of success with these pistols, and you can reliably use them instead of something like an M4 up close, and they just complement any weapon in this game nicely. So I will link this video in all future gun guides just because of the fact that it goes over the pistols, because you will see them so much, and you've already seen them so much throughout this year. Anyways, let's go ahead over our Akimbo P890 class setup, and then we'll talk about it. So for the P890 build here, we have the FT Steelfire suppressor, because, well, we're going to want to stay hidden off the radar at all times, as I mentioned with the M4. Now, we also have the Bruin Express triggers, because this gives us the fastest fire rate, so we can spam these as fast as possible. The X10 Sidearm L400 laser is going to tighten up our initial hip spread, but it's not going to help us out that much with hip fire recoil control, but that's okay because it's not really that hard to control these. We have the 12 round mag, so we make sure we have enough ammo to expend at our enemies, and then we also have the Akimbo because, well, we need 2 of them. Because it's OP. And as I'll always preach, I don't really think the tunings are that important, but I know people are going to ask for them regardless, so here they are. For the 3 attachments that are tunable, no, you cannot tune the magazine or the Akimbo attachment. Anyways, let's get right back to it. So, I'm going to go just over what's going on in the gameplay here. I'm on this rooftop because D was getting hot, and I really wanted to switch up my building as people were climbing up the ladder to try to get me. They were climbing up the staircase, and I'm not gonna lie, even though I know how the D building is laid out, I don't know the entire building. These maps have so many empty rooms on them that I've just never really bothered to explore, because I just walk in them one time, see they're empty, and I'm like, yep, out. So, I kind of forget just how many empty rooms are on each floor, and, you know, or what areas people can actually come up through sometimes, just because of how big and empty these buildings are, that I just decided, you know what, I'm going to get out of there. I just don't really feel safe anymore in that building. And right here, I'm looking for a window. Where the heck does this building lead to? Because I almost never use this building. I'm telling you guys, these maps are a maze in Ground War, but it's not that bad, because the enemies really aren't going to be there. There's only one way in and one way out, so I'm looking for an escape, and I took the gamble to come over here, and ended up paying off because I pick up my MGB, and then I hear some footsteps behind me, and I'm going to quickly take out this person, and yeah, then I'm going to place down a nice little proximity mine to watch my back, and I'm going to rotate because it seems like people are still onto me. I know they're going to be spawning around here because this is their D side of the HQ, and I'm going to go ahead and take the zip line up to the top of the building here. Now this is actually going to get me killed because someone else is going to take this later and end my streak. However, for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and use this gunship because I've already gotten my nuke, and yeah, at this point I don't really think I'm going to beat my highest gun streak of 72, so at this point I'm like, yep, time to use that gunship, and I'm going to go ahead and take out all of the vehicles that I could see instantly, And quick tip, if you're using a gunship or any vehicle and you see the disabled vehicle pop up, that means the vehicle is going to explode automatically. You don't have to keep firing your gunship or whatever kill streak you're using at that vehicle. However, sometimes I do, just because I want to make sure I kill the user inside, because, well, I like giving those little tank abusers a little, you know, a little nice death. But yeah, so I'm just using the rest of my gunship here. Some bad angles, can't really reach the enemies because the gunship is just too far away from where the enemies are. And as I come out of this, I'm just going to look to try to pick up some more kills. And as you guys can see, they're pinging on the UAV. I see where this guy was shooting me from based off of the little directional arrow, the little directional blood splatter, I guess you could say, however you want to put it. And then, as you can see here, I'm just going to try to take this guy out on a roof, but someone comes up the zipline with no audio and kills me. And now I'm going to go ahead and spawn back in, and I see that it's 170 points into the match, so I figured, you know what, this game's pretty much over. They're pretty much spawn trapped at E. I think this lobby's pretty much over, so go ahead and call on that MGB to end the game. Anyways, I just want to say, you guys might have noticed I changed my name back to GFHutchinson in-game. I think it's just better because so many people get confused with Hutch, and they're like, oh, is it that Hutch YouTuber or, you know, Twitch streamer from back in the day? And no, it's not, okay? It just used it to shorten GF Hutchinson, and it's also what a lot of people call me over the years, but I just think GF Hutchinson is better for branding. So, anyways, I will see you all in the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Drop a rating if you did, and I will see you all then. Peace out.